Have you ever felt called to something grand, but fear and insecurity left you paralyzed? Have you questioned whether you truly have the strength to face the challenges ahead? It's possible that you are going through a period of uncertainty, doubting if you are strong enough to fulfill the purpose that God has outlined for your life. Now, imagine yourself alone in a desolate place, far from everything and everyone. Your life has taken an unexpected turn, and you feel like your time has run out, that your opportunities have passed. But then, something extraordinary happens. A bright light catches your attention. As you approach, you see a bush on fire, but strangely, it is not consumed. The fire burns, and the plant remains intact. Your heart races, and a chill runs down your spine. It is at that moment that a powerful voice resonates from the flames, calling your name. How would you react if God were speaking to you right now? What would you do upon realizing that He has a purpose for your life, even if you have tried to run away from it? This is the story of Moses, an ordinary man, full of flaws, who never considered himself capable, but was chosen to lead an entire people in search of freedom. After all, can this story teach you something? Allow yourself to stay until the end of this video, as Moses' journey may be the key for you to understand the wonders that God is preparing for your life. We all face moments when we feel helpless. How many times have you wished to accomplish something, but fear took over? How many opportunities have you missed, believing you weren't good enough? Moses lived this intensely. He had everything to be a great leader. He was raised as a prince in Egypt, surrounded by wealth and power. However, one mistake dramatically changed his trajectory. He fled, abandoned his true identity, and spent years in anonymity, tending sheep in the desert, convinced his time had passed. But God had a different vision. What if I told you that God sees your life differently too? That He does not view your mistakes as a final point, but as part of a learning process? Know that God chooses ordinary people to achieve extraordinary feats, and Moses is a clear testament to that. The story of Moses begins long before his great calling. He was born in times of when the Pharaoh feared that the Hebrews would become too powerful, ordering the death of all baby boys. But Moses' mother, driven by faith, decided to hide him, and, when she could no longer protect him, in a basket and set him adrift on the Nile River. Thus, Moses was found by the Pharaoh's own daughter. Living in the palace, he received a privileged education, surrounded by luxury and influence, but deep down, he always knew he belonged to the Hebrew people. Once, upon witnessing an Egyptian mistreating a Hebrew, Moses could not control his indignation and acted impulsively, resulting in the death of the Egyptian. This impulsive act altered his entire life. He had to flee, leaving behind everything he knew. In the desert, he became a shepherd, living years in anonymity and believing he would never again have a chance to do something significant. Stop and reflect. How many times have you felt this way, as if you had missed your opportunity and your past had become an unbearable burden? However, God had not finished Moses' story, just as He has not concluded yours. It is in the desert, amidst his monotonous routine, that Moses encounters God in the burning bush, receiving the mission to return to Egypt, confront the Pharaoh, and free the Israelites from slavery. But he hesitated, filled with fear, voicing his insecurities. Who am I for this task? What if they don't believe me? Lord, I don't speak well. How many times have you thought the same way? I am not capable. I don't know how to do it. I don't have enough strength. God responded to each of these doubts in a way that transformed his perception of himself. I will be with you. God's presence in your life is more powerful than any weakness you might have. I am who I am. God does not need guarantees. He is authority itself. Who made man's mouth? If God called you, He will provide the necessary skills. Despite this, Moses still hesitated, and in His infinite patience, God sent Aaron for support. But in the end, Moses accepted the call, confronted the Pharaoh, witnessed amazing miracles, and led a people to freedom. Now, look at your life and question: is God also calling you to something grand? Have you been hiding due to fear? What can we learn from this story? God does not choose the already qualified. He qualifies those He chooses. If He is calling you, He will provide what is necessary. Fear cannot paralyze us. Moses had numerous reasons to give up, but he decided to move forward. If he had surrendered to fear, the story could have taken a completely different turn. God's presence is more than enough. Moses did not need exceptional skills, just faith and obedience. And I ask you, what is your Egypt? What challenge have you been avoiding? Isn't it time to leave fear behind and trust fully in God? If this message touched your heart, like this video and share it with someone who also needs to hear it. Leave in the comments if you've ever had a moment when you felt God was calling you to something greater. I want to read your experience and pray for you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. May God bless you abundantly and see you next time.